Hi, today we're going to make a vertical center step card. And I used the August 2026 product of the month, which, what is it called? Glow of Harvest specialty designer paper. And it all has this shimmer to it. I don't normally show the paper I'm going to use in full, but this is just so pretty. And if I had a current pumpkin stamp, it probably would be on here. But look at how pretty these sheets. They're only patterned on one side, so then you don't have to choose which one you're going to use. But I thought they were so pretty. So for my card, I really just wanted to focus on the paper. For the card that we're going to make today, I've chosen to use different paper. I really like these pumpkins. So here is my template of how we're going to cut it and score. It's very similar to the card I made last week, except that it's 4 1/4 by 11, so that you can make it tall and narrow. I am going to start, try and keep this in camera for you. Going to start like I did last time. And I'm going to score. And this time I'm only going to go down 1 inch. And I want to score at 1, 2, and what was it again? 6.5. So that's approximately 1 inch. I'll probably add more scoring once I've cut it. And then down here, I'm just going to use my ruler so I can mark where 1, 2, and 6.5 are. And then I'm going to go up to 3 1/4 at 1, 2, and 6.5. And now we're going to do this score line where we need to skip over the 1 inch and not go into the next 1 inch. So 5.5 is here, and I'm going to put it just under 1 inch on this side. I'm going to find 5.5 here, and I'm going to stick my stylus in it. And then I'm going to go down to just above, or just about 3 1/4 with my ruler, and I'm going to go down. We'll probably be bringing this back in to clean up those score lines after we cut, but I'd rather not have my score lines go into my cut lines. And now we're going to go 1 inch in from the side. So we line it up with 1 inch over here, and then I'm gonna make sure my blade is within, and we're gonna go from 6.5 to 1 inch. And I'll have to stand to do this. Okay, so we have a score line, the cut line, and then our score lines. And we'll extend these once we finish with the cutting. Now let's cut on the other side. I got it in the middle, so I'm going to go down to about 6.5 and go up to 1, and then we're done with our cutting. Going to bring the scoreboard back in just to make sure that my score lines are all the way to the cut lines. That was actually pretty good on some of those. Now I'm going to fold it just like I did the last one, where I'm going to carefully start back here with these 3 and get those popped up. This one goes down and this one goes up. And then slowly we put that all together. I try and line up the bottom, but one side's always longer than the other for me, no matter how I cut it. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to get those flattened out. There. So there we go. That's the base of our vertical center step card. Now I'm going to put my paper on. And I cut this one, I have the layers written down here, 2 inches by 4 3/8. If you make it 4 1/4, there'll be too big a gap. If you make it 4 1/2, it pretty much touches. But if you want them to touch, that's fine. Or if you don't mind the big gap, you know, cut it however you want it. And I'm going to use liquid glue to get this on. I just thought this paper was so pretty. I love shimmer. And now I've got my 3 pieces where this one is 3/4 by 4 for the bottom. I'll put that on. Oh, there we go. And these are each 3/4 by 4 1/4 for the sides. If you needed to make them by 4, that would be fine. That would use less paper because you're not really gonna see down there. I tend to even put it on without even looking at the bottom part. I mean, it does come out so that it's got a good border, but if you just want to use 1 piece and cut it into 3, that would be, yeah, 3 4 pieces would come out. And then we'll put this one on the other side. Oh, I did not get that centered. That's pretty good. There we go. Okay. So there's the base of our card. I just love the shimmer. So pretty. Now I am going to stamp on basic beige with Early Espresso ink. And this stamp is from Fern and Flora. I felt the fall theme just made it a thank you card work best in my head. So I'll get that stamped just on the scrap piece that I had. It just needed to be big enough for the Stylish Shapes banner to fit around it. So now I will bring in the die cutting machine. Gonna put my sentiment in here, line it up, tape that down, and then I have a piece of Golden Glow just for an accent behind, like I did with Cajun Craze here. But there wasn't any Cajun Craze in this paper, so I went with Golden Glow. Cut those out. So there we have, oh my, it really stuck there. Okay, so there we have the Golden Glow and our sentiment. Put these away. And I'm going to do something to my banner that you might not have been able to see on this one. I don't know if you can tell. I probably needed to spray more, but I sprayed shimmer onto my sentiment. We don't sell this anymore, and I have not checked to see if it's still available. I think it is, but we used to sell this, and I still have the Fantastics too. This is Frost White, and so I mixed it up well before I bought the Stampin' Spritzers, so you have a mini mister. I probably should put it in here because then I could use more, and because when I make one of these, I spray everything. Okay, so all I did was pour some of the paint in here, and then I filled it with rubbing alcohol. Now I'm going to bring in my box. This is going to be fun for you. Here's my spray box. I don't like my spray getting everywhere. So I have a spray box, and I actually had to clean out the nozzle of my mister. I used the nail brush for cleaning under nails. That worked really well because it had nice stiff bristles. But let's make sure it's, yep, it's misting. It was just squirting a line. So I'm gonna do a few on that. And then I'm gonna move my box out of the way. And then can you see that shimmer? I hope you can see that shimmer. It's really pretty. It's, you know, it's nice without the shimmer, but I really wanted it to have the shimmer to go with the paper. Now, I'm just going to put a little glue on here. And since it was alcohol, it's not very wet. It dries pretty fast. I'm going to put that on the back. Whoops. Apparently not fast enough. Okay, and then I like to flip it over when I do these kinds of layers to see if I got it even. And I definitely didn't get it even that way. I think I'm gonna have to put more glue on that. Here we go. We'll try that again. And try and get it even. Right to left, and then try and get it even up to down. There we go. So then I'm gonna stick that there and use some dimensionals to put that on. I'm gonna go with 3. I wanna make sure it stays. There we go. Line that up in the center, and I kind of want the banner points to be lined up with the middle part, but it is what it is now. And I cut a piece of 4 by 4 1/4 inch, very vanilla for the inside. White would have been too stark for me, just because nothing on here is white. It's gonna make my pictures challenging. So there we go for an inside. And then I will finish it off with a few antique pearls. Another paper that'll work with the antique pearls. We've got more vanilla bases going on lately. Okay, so I'm going to put one there, kind of try and highlight this pumpkin here. And then one down there. So there is my vertical center step fold card. Thanks for watching.